People travel from all over the world to visit me in Omaha, carrying one simple question in their minds. What's the real secret to building wealth? Before they even walk through the door, they've already imagined what they're about to see. They picture a high-tech environment, rooms filled with powerful computers, screens flashing complex data, sophisticated algorithms running non-stop, and teams of brilliant minds analyzing numbers at lightning speed. But when they finally step inside, reality hits differently. There's no technological spectacle, no army of analysts, no overwhelming complexity. Just a quiet room, a simple wooden desk, and an old man sitting there, calmly reading a book. And almost every time, the reaction is the same: disappointment. Because deep down, they were hoping for something complicated, something mysterious, some hidden formula that only a few privileged minds understand. But the truth is far less dramatic and far more powerful. Winning in life doesn't come from complexity. It comes from something most people overlook.
The illusion of intelligence. Take a moment and look around your own life. You probably know someone who is exceptionally intelligent, the kind of person who always topped their class, the one who scored perfectly on exams, the one who got into elite institutions and can solve complex problems in their head without breaking a sweat. On paper, they seem unstoppable. But if you look closer at their real life today, the picture often changes. They're buried in debt. Their personal relationships are unstable or broken. They live under constant pressure, dealing with stress and anxiety on a daily basis. And despite all that intelligence, they spend most of their time working under someone who may not even be as capable as they are. So what went wrong? How does someone so intellectually gifted end up trapped in the biggest lie you were taught? The answer lies in a belief that has been planted in your mind since childhood. You were told that intelligence, your IQ, is your ultimate advantage, that the smartest person in the room will always come out on top. It sounds logical. It sounds convincing. But it's not true. After decades of observing people, patterns begin to emerge, and one thing becomes very clear. Success, especially in the world of money and decision-making, is not a game of intelligence. It's not a competition where the highest IQ automatically wins. In fact, having extremely high intelligence can sometimes work against you. Your mind is an engine, but that's not enough. Think of your brain like a car. Your intelligence, your ability to process information, analyze situations, and think quickly is the engine, the horsepower. For highly intelligent individuals, that engine is incredibly powerful, like a high-performance sports car, fast, efficient, and impressive. But here's the critical question. What happens if that car doesn't have proper control? What if the steering doesn't work? What if the brakes fail? It doesn't matter how powerful the engine is. The result is inevitable: a crash. And the more powerful the engine, the more destructive that crash becomes. Control matters more than power. So what represents the steering wheel? It's your ability to think rationally. It's your emotional discipline. It's your ability to stay grounded and follow a consistent system, even when emotions try to take over. Without these, intelligence becomes dangerous. Highly intelligent people often fall into a subtle trap. They reject simplicity. Simple ideas feel beneath them, too obvious, too easy. They assume that something so important must be complex. So they start searching for hidden layers, deeper patterns, complicated explanations. And in doing so, they create problems that never needed to exist in the first place. The real enemy isn't what you think. You might assume that your biggest threat in life is making bad decisions. But that's not entirely true. You're already smart enough to avoid obvious disasters. If someone came to you with a clearly fraudulent scheme and asked you to invest your entire life savings, you wouldn't even hesitate. Your instincts would immediately reject it. You'd walk away.
So no, your greatest danger isn't bad ideas. Your real enemy is something far more subtle. It's the good ideas. The hidden danger of good enough. The real problem isn't failure. It's distraction disguised as opportunity. It's that business idea that seems somewhat profitable. It's that side project that feels kind of exciting. It's that invitation that sounds just entertaining enough to accept. These things aren't terrible. In fact, they're appealing. That's exactly why they're dangerous. Because they're good enough to steal your time, but not great enough to transform your life. And that creates a silent cost.
The cost you don't see. Every time you commit to something mediocre, it takes something valuable from you. Your focus, your mental energy, your clarity, your ability to think deeply. These good options slowly drain your cognitive bandwidth, leaving you scattered and exhausted. And when the truly exceptional opportunity finally appears, you're too distracted, too tired, or too unfocused to recognize it, let alone act on it. Every yes to something average is in reality a quiet rejection of something extraordinary. Energy, your most limited resource. You don't have unlimited energy. Every single day, you're given a fixed amount. How you use it determines everything. If you spread that energy across 20 different pursuits, each one moves forward, but barely. Just a tiny step. Not enough to stand out. Not enough to matter. But if you take that same energy and concentrate it into just one or two meaningful directions, the results become powerful, noticeable, transformational.
The power of focus. Imagine holding a magnifying glass under the sun. If you keep moving it around, nothing really happens. The light scatters, the paper just gets warm. But if you hold it completely still and focus all that energy on one precise point, something incredible happens. It ignites. A flame appears. That's the difference between distraction and focus. You don't need more energy. You need direction. You need precision. You need intensity. You need to become like a laser, sharp, concentrated, and unstoppable. Your assignment? Eliminate without mercy. If you truly want to apply this principle, here's what you need to do. Take a blank sheet of paper. Write down the 25 most important things you want to achieve in your life. Then, go through that list and circle the top 5. Those 5 represent your true path, your real priorities, your long-term direction. Now, here's the part most people get wrong. The remaining 20 are not secondary goals. They are distractions. They are obstacles. They are the very things that will pull you away from what actually matters. Treat them accordingly. Avoid them completely. Do not give them your time, your energy, or your attention. Not until your top 5 are fully realized. This is the discipline of elimination. This is how you protect your focus. This is how you win.
Rule number 2, mastering emotional detachment. Now let's move to the second principle, one that goes against your very nature. Because here's a hard truth. You were not designed to succeed in the modern financial world. Your brain is working against you. Your mind wasn't built for stock markets, investments, or long-term wealth strategies. It was built for survival. Thousands of years ago, your ancestors lived in environments where reacting quickly meant staying alive. If everyone around you suddenly started running in fear, you didn't pause to analyze the situation. You didn't gather data. You ran. Because hesitation could cost you your life. Fear and following the group kept humans alive for generations. Why following the crowd fails today? But in today's world, especially in money and investing, those same instincts can destroy you. Because the crowd is rarely right. Following the herd often leads to average results at best and complete failure at worst. To succeed, you have to think independently.
Meet Mr. Market. There's a powerful mental model that explains this perfectly. Imagine you own a small piece of a business, and you have a partner. Let's call him Mr. Market. Every single day, without fail, he shows up at your door with an offer. He'll either buy your share or sell you his. But here's the twist. Mr. Market is emotionally unstable. Some days he's wildly optimistic. He sees endless growth, opportunity, and success everywhere. On those days, he offers you ridiculously high prices because he believes the future is perfect. Other days, he's deeply pessimistic. He sees nothing but crisis, chaos, and collapse. On those days, he becomes desperate. He offers to sell everything at extremely low prices just to escape his fear. The ultimate test of discipline. Here's the key insight. Mr. Market is not there to guide you. He's there to serve you. His prices are opportunities, not instructions. But most people make a critical mistake. They let his emotions control their decisions. When prices are rising and everyone is making money, they feel envy. They jump in late. The rule everyone knows, but few follow. There's a simple principle. Be cautious when others are greedy. Be bold when others are fearful. It sounds easy. People repeat it, they print it on posters, but very few actually live by it. Because in reality, it's incredibly difficult. The pain of going against the crowd. When markets are collapsing and fear is everywhere, taking action feels uncomfortable, even painful. Your mind will resist. Your body will react. Your instincts will tell you to run, to hide, to follow the crowd. To act against that instinct, you have to detach yourself emotionally. You have to think clearly when others cannot. You have to remain steady when everything around you is unstable. That's not easy. It requires discipline at the highest level. It requires you to build a mental fortress, one that protects your decisions from emotional chaos. Build a fortress around your mind. You have to create distance between your emotions and your decisions. Train yourself to see a falling stock price not as a threat, but as a potential miscalculation. Not danger, but opportunity if the fundamentals support it. This requires something most people never develop.
The ability to detach your ego, your pride, and your emotional impulses from the constant noise of the market. Those flashing red and green numbers on a screen are not instructions. They are signals, and often misleading ones. Why distance creates clarity? This is exactly why some of the greatest investors chose physical and mental distance from financial chaos. They didn't want to be surrounded by noise, panic, or hype. They chose calm environments, places where they could think clearly without being influenced by the emotional storms of the crowd. Because when you remove yourself from the noise, something powerful happens. You start seeing reality instead of reactions. You focus on the actual value of things, not the opinions of others. Control your emotions, or they control your money. This leads to a simple but brutal truth. If you cannot manage your emotions, you cannot manage your finances. So here's your practical assignment for this principle. The next time panic spreads across the world and markets begin to fall, step away.
Turn off the television. Log out of social media. Disconnect from the noise completely. Instead of reacting emotionally, shift your focus to logic. Study the numbers. Analyze the business. Evaluate its real worth. If the value is strong and the price is irrationally low, take action. If the value isn't there, do nothing. Patience is also a decision. Never allow emotional chaos to dictate your choices. Either you take control of your mind or your instincts will control you. Rule number 3, the mathematics of survival. Now let's move to the third principle, one that sounds simple but carries immense weight. When people ask for the most important rule in investing, the answer is always the same. Rule number 1, do not lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1.
Many people laugh when they hear this. It sounds too obvious, almost like a joke. But it isn't. It's a mathematical reality. The obsession with upside. Highly intelligent individuals often make a critical mistake. They become obsessed with how much they can gain. They spend their time imagining profits, success, luxury, the rewards. But they ignore an equally important question. What happens if I'm wrong? They don't calculate the downside. And that's where destruction begins.
The brutal math of loss. Let's break it down. If you start with $100,000 and lose 50%, you're left with $50,000. To recover back to $100,000, you don't need a 50% gain. You need 100%. That means doubling your money just to get back to where you started. Now imagine losing 90%. Recovering from that requires a 900% gain. At that point, the climb becomes nearly impossible. This is the trap of negative compounding. Losses don't just hurt, they multiply your difficulty. The deeper the fall, the steeper the recovery. Focus on survival, not brilliance. This is why long-term success isn't about making brilliant moves. It's about avoiding catastrophic mistakes. History is full of examples where highly intelligent people failed, not because they lacked knowledge, but because they ignored risk. They used leverage. They chased faster growth. They pushed beyond safe limits. And when something unexpected happened, everything collapsed. The danger of risking what matters. There's a simple principle. Never risk what you already have and need for something you don't have and don't truly need. That's not strategy. That's gambling. Imagine being offered a large reward for taking a tiny but real chance of total destruction. No rational person would accept that deal. Because some risks are not worth taking, no matter how attractive the reward seems.
Protect yourself from zero. In any system, 1 0 can wipe everything out. One bad decision, one extreme risk, one moment of overconfidence, and everything disappears. That's why protection matters more than growth. The power of a margin of safety. To defend yourself, you need what's called a margin of safety. Think like an engineer building a bridge. If the expected load is 10,000 pounds, they don't build a bridge that can handle exactly 10,000. They build it to handle far more. That extra capacity protects against uncertainty, weather, wear, unexpected pressure. You need to build your life the same way. Apply it to your life. If your monthly survival requires a certain income, don't design your life with zero buffer, because one unexpected event can break everything. Avoid unnecessary risk. Avoid overdependence. Avoid putting critical assets on the line for uncertain outcomes. Create space for mistakes. Create space for bad luck. Create space for reality. The reward? Peace of mind. When you build a strong margin of safety, something incredible happens. Stress disappears. Fear fades. You gain control. You sleep peacefully, regardless of what's happening outside, because your foundation is strong.
Your assignment: stress test your life. Take a hard look at your current situation, your finances, your obligations, your risks. Ask yourself, are you operating at the edge? Are you one mistake away from collapse? If the answer is yes, fix it immediately. Reduce risk. Build reserves. Accept slower growth in exchange for long-term survival. Because in the end, the winner isn't the one who moves the fastest. It's the one who never crashes. Rule number 4, the gravity of influence. Now let's talk about something even more powerful than discipline: your environment. You've probably been told that success is all about willpower, that if you try hard enough, you can overcome anything. But that's not entirely true. The myth of willpower. Willpower is limited. It's like a battery. You start your day with a full charge. But as the day goes on, decisions, stress, interactions, that battery drains. By evening, it's nearly empty. And when willpower runs out, habits take over.
Your environment is stronger than your will. But your environment, that's not a battery. It's a constant force, like gravity. It influences you all the time, whether you realize it or not. You cannot escape its pull.
You become what you're around. If you surround yourself with people who complain, avoid responsibility, and blame external factors, over time, you will start thinking the same way. Not because you chose to, but because your brain adapts to fit its environment. You absorb attitudes, behaviors, and beliefs without even noticing. But this works both ways. Now, flip the situation. Put yourself around people who are disciplined, focused, constantly learning, and striving for growth. And something changes. Your standards rise. Your thinking improves. Your actions evolve. Because you naturally align with the people around you. The gravity of people, and the only asset that truly compounds. If you surround yourself with people who take full responsibility for their failures, who operate with discipline, and who live by strong principles, you won't stay the same. Over time, their standards become your standards. Their habits become your habits. Their mindset quietly reshapes your entire life. The real secret behind long-term success. When people try to understand extraordinary success, they usually expect a complex explanation. They think it must involve advanced financial strategies, perfect timing, or some hidden formula. But often, the real answer is much simpler. It comes down to one critical choice: who you choose to walk through life with.
The most important decision you'll ever make. Here's something most people completely overlook. The most important financial decision of your life has nothing to do with stocks, real estate, or business deals. It's the people you choose as your closest partners in life and in work. Because the right person doesn't just support you, they elevate you, they challenge you, they force you to grow beyond your comfort zone. Why the right partner changes everything. The goal isn't to find someone who agrees with everything you say. That kind of comfort feels good in the short term, but it limits growth. What you actually need is someone who thinks independently, challenges your ideas, calls out your mistakes honestly, holds you to a higher standard. Growth doesn't come from agreement. It comes from friction, the right kind of friction. The ego trap. This is where most intelligent people make a mistake. They let their ego choose their circle. The ego wants to feel superior. It wants to be the smartest person in the room. It enjoys being admired, being listened to, being right. But that comfort comes at a cost. Because if you're always the smartest person in the room, you've stopped growing.
The brutal truth about growth. If you look around and realize that no one challenges you, that no one pushes your thinking, that no one operates at a higher level than you, then you're in the wrong environment. Growth only happens when you're stretched, when you're slightly uncomfortable, when you're surrounded by people who operate at a level that forces you to improve. You move toward what you admire. Your life direction is not random. It follows a pattern. You naturally move toward the people you respect and admire. Their values influence your decisions. Their behavior shapes your standards. So if you want to predict your future, just look at the people you spend the most time with. Your assignment. Audit your circle. Take an honest look at your inner circle, the 5 people you spend the most time with. Ask yourself, are they helping you grow or holding you back? Do they discuss ideas or just gossip about others? Do they take responsibility or constantly make excuses? If they're pulling you down, you have to make a difficult decision. Create distance. The cost of growth. This won't be easy. You may face resistance. People might misunderstand your intentions. They may say you've changed. And the truth is, you have. And that's exactly the point. Growth requires separation from what no longer serves you. You have to remove negative influences and intentionally surround yourself with people who push you toward excellence. Rule number 5. The only asset that cannot be taken away from you. Now, let's move to the final principle, the one that matters more than all the others combined. Look at the world today. Uncertainty is everywhere. People worry about inflation. They worry about taxes. They worry about technology replacing their jobs. And in response, they scramble. They chase safe investments. They move their money from one place to another, hoping to protect it. The illusion of external security. But here's the reality. Every external asset you own is vulnerable. Markets fluctuate, policies change, industries evolve. What feels secure today can disappear tomorrow. There is no permanent safety in external things. The only true asset, your ability to earn. There is only one thing that cannot be taken away from you. Your ability to create value. Your skills. Your knowledge. Your ability to think, communicate, and adapt. That is your ultimate asset. A simple skill that changes everything. Early in life, one limitation can quietly hold you back. The inability to express your ideas clearly. You may have knowledge, you may have intelligence, but if you cannot communicate it, it has no impact. Learning how to speak clearly and write effectively changes everything. It amplifies your value. It connects your ideas to the real world.
The highest return investment. Some investments give small returns. Others give moderate returns. But investing in yourself can generate exponential returns over a lifetime. Improving one core skill can multiply your opportunities, your income, and your influence. The power of compounding knowledge. People often look for shortcuts. They want fast results. But real growth doesn't work that way. Knowledge compounds slowly, day by day, page by page. When you learn something new, it connects with what you already know. Over time, those connections form a powerful mental framework. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening, but internally, everything is changing. Consistency beats intensity. You don't need extreme effort for short periods. You need steady effort over long periods. Reading a small amount every day may seem insignificant, but over years, it becomes a massive advantage. Small actions repeated consistently create extraordinary results. Your final assignment. Stop worrying about things you cannot control. Stop chasing every new opportunity. Instead, focus inward. Improve your thinking. Strengthen your skills. Invest in your ability to earn, adapt, and grow. Because in the end, markets will change.
Trends will fade, but the person you become, that is the one investment that will keep paying you for the rest of your life. The final truth most people realize too late. Stop obsessing over things you cannot control. Stop constantly checking headlines, refreshing your portfolio, or trying to predict every move of the economy. You don't control global systems. You don't control market cycles, and you don't control uncertainty. So instead of wasting your energy there, redirect it. Put that energy into something that will always pay you back. Invest where returns are guaranteed. There is one place where effort never goes to waste: your own growth, your ability to communicate, your understanding of people, history, and business. Make it a habit. Read consistently. Learn continuously. Sharpen your thinking every single day. Because when the world enters chaos, and it will, most people will panic. Their confidence will collapse. Their decisions will break down. But if you've invested in yourself, even if your external situation shakes, your internal strength remains untouched.
The advantage that cannot be taken away. Money can fluctuate. Markets can crash. Opportunities can disappear. But the value you build inside yourself, no one can take that from you. No system can reduce it. No crisis can destroy it. And when you walk through difficult times with that internal strength, you don't just survive. You come out stronger, smarter, more capable than before. Pin.
The 5 rules that change everything. Think about what we've covered. You learned that raw intelligence is not enough. Control matters more than power. You discovered the discipline of focus through eliminating distractions. You understood how emotions can sabotage decisions if left unchecked. You saw the importance of protecting yourself through margin of safety. You realized how deeply your environment shapes your future. And finally, you understood that your greatest asset is your own mind. If you truly apply these principles, wealth becomes a natural outcome, not by luck, but by design. A warning most people ignore. But before you walk away, there's something even more important, something that rarely gets discussed. Because I've seen what happens at the very top. I've seen people with more money than they could ever spend. Power, influence, status, all of it. From the outside, their lives look perfect. But behind the scenes, the story is often very different.
The dark side of success without meaning. There are people who built massive fortunes, only to reach the end of their lives completely alone. No real love, no genuine relationships, no one who truly cares. The people around them are there for convenience, for benefit, for inheritance, not for connection. And in that moment, all the money in the world becomes meaningless. The definition of real failure. Because true failure is not about losing money. It's about losing what actually matters. You can have billions in your account, but if the people you care about don't truly love you, then something went terribly wrong along the way. The rocking chair test. Imagine yourself at the end of your life. You're sitting quietly, looking back at everything you've done. In that moment, you won't be thinking about profits. You won't be thinking about business deals or market performance. You'll be thinking about people. Did you treat them with respect? Did you act with honesty? Did you build trust or break it for short-term gain? That is the only scorecard that truly matters. Money is a tool, not the goal. Money is powerful. It gives you freedom. It removes stress. It opens doors. But it has limits. You can buy comfort. You can buy luxury. You can even buy attention. But you cannot buy genuine love. You cannot buy respect that comes from character. Those things must be earned. The only way to win the real game. If you want love, you have to become someone worth loving. If you want respect, you have to live with integrity. No shortcut, no transaction, no exception. Your final direction. So as you move forward, build your wealth, play the game, aim high, but don't lose sight of what actually matters. Don't sacrifice your reputation for quick gains. Don't sacrifice your relationships for temporary success. And don't spend your life climbing a ladder, only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. Take control. You now have the principles. You understand the system. So stop drifting. Take control. Make deliberate decisions. And start building a life that is not just successful, but meaningful.